You're listening to Three Kitchens podcast, hosted by home cooks Erin Walker and Heather Dyer.
Are you tired of cooking the same old things? So are we. Let's all get inspired, cook better, and eat great food. Hello and welcome to Three Kitchens podcast. My name's Erin Walker and I'm here with the wonderful co-host Heather Dyer.
Well, thank you very much. That's a lovely intro.
I'm feeling perky and excited today.
Oh.
I don't know about you, but I love citrus season in the grocery store, and we're rounding into that. And there's all these wonderful fruits that are hitting the shelves. And I walked past the grapefruits today at the grocery store. And I'm telling you, Heather, it was like I jumped into a pile of grapefruits. It smelled so good. I don't know what it is right now, but something about them is just smelling fantastic. So I went past those grapefruits. I'm smelling the deliciousness of them, and it got me thinking of the wonderful drink that we made with the grapefruits.
Paloma?
The Paloma. I couldn't remember it here. I was going for Palermo. I was like, nope, that's an island.
Is it? I was going to say, what is that? I don't even know. Okay.
Close to the coast of Italy. A little island I want to end up at someday.
Okay.
Drinking Palomas, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yes, please.
So I was like, well, I wonder what you can make with grapefruits that is sweet, because this is such a tasty drink and you never see grapefruits being cooked or baked with. So then I grabbed a few and was like, I'm going to find something to make with grapefruits. So I'm going to bake with grapefruits. It's really
good.
A long-winded story as to what I'm going to try to do.
I'll be cutting that out of the video. Yeah.
No, Heather's gonna cut everything. All you're gonna get is hi, welcome, and now we make a recipe.
Ruthless.
I don't know, Edward Scissorhands of the video clipping.
Yeah.
So then I started searching up and I found these delightful looking little grapefruit dessert bars, and they're kind of like a lemon curd bar, but with a grapefruit type curd on top of a little shortbread crust. And they're this beautiful pink color, and I think they're going to have all the yummy flavors of a grapefruity drink in them. And, you know, like a nice little shortbread crust on the bottom, because why the hell not?
A Palermo was made with gin, right? Am I remembering that right?
See, now it's not Palermo, it's Paloma.
I mean, God damn. At least you caught it, because I didn't even hear myself say that.
It's okay now.
You did it. You said
it's my fault, really.
The Paloma? Is it made with gin? I'm trying to recall. This might be too off topic.
This is interesting. Actually, I think the Palermo had tequila in it, to be honest with you.
Well, then scratch that whole thing.
Sorry. I'm going to go with no on that one.
Okay.
Now, I've tried to make like a lemon shortbread square before, and I've had a struggle getting that top layer to set because there's a little bit of a boiling sugar deal going on there.
Curds can be fussy.
Yeah. So, as much as this sounds like fun and possibly basic, I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit more challenging than I would like it to be. But you know what? Maybe this time I can pay good attention and catch the mistakes I've made before. Because I've successfully made a lemon meringue pie, which kind of has that boiling curd setting thing that you got to do when you make a.
Mm-hmm.
So
have you made it from scratch?
I have.
You have? I've only used the mix, which
Cheater.
I think is perfectly good and delicious.
So I always make mine by scratch, Heather.
Well, I have made, remember when I made curd for the podcast?
Yes.
I made trifle with it. It did not set. It was delicious. It worked fine for trifle because it's all kind of pudding-y, cakey, but it did not set the way it was supposed to. So I feel you on this.
Yeah, this isn't like the simplest thing ever. So worst case scenario, I've got some grapefruits. We're going to see if I can make this happen. And if I can't, I'm just gonna have to try again and try again.
Uh-oh.
And this could be one of those multi-step processes.
I hope it
But
goes well.
let's hope it just works out and that I can figure this out.
I think you can. Lots of people do it.
Well, lots of people do lots of things.
Okay, I'm trying to be like helpful.
I know you're trying
like
to be
encouraging here.
encouraging.
It's not
Yes.
working.
I mean, they look adorable because the color from the grapefruit juice is this wonderful pink color, and I feel like this would be a cute thing to have for a dessert.
It sounds delicious. I can't wait.
And we haven't, I don't think this year, this will be the first dessert sweet.
Well, what about the banana date cake?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see that on the calendar next to me. It'll be the second.
It'll be the second, because that was the only other sweet thing we've had so far.
That's right. Okay.
And that was way back. I don't know when this is coming out, but I'm assuming it's a while back.
It could have been a little bit back. We're really on a savory kick, but wish me luck. I'm gonna try this sweet and see if I can make us a yummy citrusy dessert.
Good luck.
Thank you. I shall need it.
Expecting a baby or planning for one? Birthing Magazine is here for you. Since 1997, Birthing Magazine has been Alberta's #1 trusted source for current, relevant information on pregnancy, birth, and parenting alternatives. Published 3 times a year by Birth Unlimited, a local nonprofit, each issue is sharing inspiring birth stories, evidence-based research, and community events.
From midwifery care and home birth to full duration breastfeeding and attachment parenting and beyond, Birthing Magazine explores the options and alternatives that matter most to you. We believe, know, and share that empowered birth works not only for the child and the family, but also the world. Birthing Magazine. Take charge of your birth experience. Okay, let's talk about grapefruit bars.
Let's.
These were not 100% grapefruit,
Oh.
FYI. I can't
Okay.
give you something you totally feel comfortable with.
Okay. I was totally comfortable eating it.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So I happened to find at the grocery store, they had the pomelo grapefruits. And I don't know. Are
Is that
they
what a
grapefruits?
pomelo is? Yeah,
I
I was
don't
gonna ask.
know. Good questions. They look like giant grapefruits, and they have like a very pink flesh on the inside and a pretty thick skin around it. Anyway, they had them, and I was like, ooh, maybe I'll make my grapefruit bars with this pomelo instead.
Oh, nice.
So I grabbed this fruit off the shelf, got it home, peeled it, and much to my dismay, it was kind of dry inside. You know how citrus fruit sort of, when it's not perfectly in season or it's been picked too early, it can be kind of dry inside. So this was my predicament, and I was like, oh, dang. So what I did was peeled everything off and tossed all of the flesh into my Ninja blender and blended it up, and then tossed it in some cheesecloth and just let it strain and hang overnight. And I got a cup of grapefruit or pomelo juice out of that.
Oh.
Are you looking up stuff on pomelo? I see your eyes wandering.
I promise I'm listening. A pomelo is not a grapefruit, but they are closely related and share similarities. It is a separate species of citrus fruit, while a grapefruit is a hybrid of a pomelo and a sweet orange. Well, who knew? Pomelos are the largest citrus fruit. Grapefruits are large, but smaller than pomelos. Thank you very much, Google, for that insightful information.
What would we do without that comparison? I would have never known. Okay. Okay, so these are like, this is like the OG. This is not a grapefruit. This is pomelo. Okay. So I was able to get the cup of pomelo juice that I needed. Unfortunately, grating the rind on it, I don't know, holding that thing and trying to get like the zest on the outside was just about impossible for me. And I don't know why, like holding, it was the shape, you know how sometimes when you're going to zest a lemon or a lime and it's like you run it over there and you get nothing but like a little bit of the oil from the skin and not actually the zest that you're looking for. Do you ever get that when you're
Yeah,
zesting?
does it have a different type of skin on it? Like, you know, a
I don't
lemon is like
know.
a little slightly bumpy, so I think you can get, it's a bit rough, so you can get all the,
Yeah, that was,
maybe it's too smooth or
I
something.
think it's the smoothness of it. So
Huh.
anyway, I had a really hard time trying to get the skin off. So this recipe called for grapefruit zest, which wasn't happening for me.
Okay.
So they said you could use lemon zest
Mm.
and or lemon juice in this if you needed to top up. And so I didn't have lemon either. So I was like, well, what's the next citrus fruit I have here? A lime. So I put some lime zest and a little bit of lime juice in with the juice when I made the filling.
Hmm.
Okay, so now that you know these were pomelo bars and not grapefruit bars, let's start where I started on this recipe, and that's with the crust. So this is a really simple shortbread crust that you're making for the bottom. It consists of flour, powdered sugar, salt, and butter that you grate. If you're not grating butter into your pastry flour mixtures like pie crust, shortbread, cookies, anything you're making, you can grate cold butter out of the fridge butter and have it cream up and integrate with your flour so nice instead of like playing with a microwave, waiting for it to come to temperature on your counter. I don't know. I live
Hmm.
by the cheese grater
For
with
the
my
butter.
butter. Love it.
And if you do need to soften the butter, like to
Hmm.
cream it or something, and it's too cold, grating it helps it. Like grate it first and let it sit, and it's going to soften a lot faster because
Yeah.
it'll warm up a lot faster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Love it. That's my advice.
One of Erin's favorite kitchen tools.
Me and my
The
cheese
grater.
grater. The
Yeah.
grater. It's the greatest tool ever. All right.
Yes.
You're welcome. So you get your butter into your dry ingredients. You want to blend it with your hands. So I can never describe this motion of like pressing it and massaging it with your hands
Yes.
so that the butter and the flour become one crumbly mixture. And then
Hmm.
you just press that into the bottom of an 11 by 7 pan, and then you parbake it before you put your filling in. So
Okay.
it's 20 minutes in a 350-degree oven. And while that does that, you can work on your filling. So it's really quick to come together.
Hmm.
So your filling consists of 1.5 cups of granulated sugar, all-purpose flour, 4 whole eggs, the grapefruit juice, the zest, and if you want, food coloring so that it
Oh,
looks a little extra pink.
and did you
I did.
food color it? You did.
So the pomelo wasn't as pink on the inside, so I did use food coloring to make it just a little bit pinker because I had some food coloring paste to pop in there. So all these things whisked together in a bowl. You want to get that sugar dissolved in there, so it's not, when you pour your filling out of the bowl, you don't want that like sugar that hasn't dissolved kind of hanging around in your bowl, looking like a little nasty trail of, oh, this didn't get included.
Okay.
So you
Yeah.
want to whisk it pretty good so that you get all those things combined well. Pour it over the hot crust. Your crust must be hot, they say. Pop it back in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. You really want to watch the end point on this because, as we mentioned in the first half, making these bars with like that curd filling on top can be kind of, you never know if it's going to set or not, is the way I
Yeah.
feel about it.
Hmm.
And this one seemed like a easy curd because there was no like boiling of sugar and juice and then adding in eggs and tempering them and making it into
Yeah.
none of that
Yeah.
business. This was just all tossed together in a bowl, mix it, whisk it, dump it on top and pop it in the oven. You have to watch it because you want it to set and you don't want it to go too far so that it gets hard to bite into. It's
Oh.
that fussy little area of like the soft curd on top, but still cuttable and holds shape, but not
Yeah.
like gummy. You don't want it to be like stuck in your teeth, right?
Oh, is that what happens if
I
it's too
think.
long? See, I always have, not all, I shouldn't say always. I think I've made curd once. So my problem was that it was too runny. Not, I've never experienced what happens if it goes too far set.
No, I haven't either because I've only had runny curds as well.
Now, why does the crust need to be hot when you put it on?
I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe it's so that maybe it helps speed up that cooking so the top doesn't get hot before the bottom warms up. You know what I mean? Like it's coming at it from both directions, the bottom and the top. I'm totally
And maybe it
making
helps seal that bottom crust so it doesn't get soggy.
Yeah, maybe.
You're going to want to jiggle your pan. So the sides are going to look set. They're going to kind of rise up a bit. That middle is going to be a little bit, you're going to see it. It's going to look like liquid moving around in the middle. You don't want that jiggle. So at 20 minutes, I still had some jiggle going on in there. So then I went in 2-minute or 1-minute increments. And then by the second minute, that jiggle was gone. Like it turned fast.
Oh, okay.
So then I took it out. You let it cool in its pan until it's cool and it's at room temperature. And then I put it into the fridge, and they say keep it in the fridge a couple hours or overnight. So I did overnight because my history with curd was, oh my God, I don't know if it's going to cut.
You want to give it more time.
All the fridge time you need. And then slice it up into bars, and voila.
Enjoy. I definitely enjoyed it. I thought it was more tart than I was expecting. At first, I was like, I thought it would be sweeter. I don't know. And so the first little bite I had, I was like, whoa, this is interesting. And you definitely could pick up on the lime. I thought the lime, you could see it too, the little green zest, which I thought looked really pretty in the bar. You could definitely taste that as well. And it was, I loved how kind of sour almost. It's like sweet and sour.
Yeah, it had a lot of the bitter taste of the grapefruit in there. And I think it actually complemented it really well because it felt very refreshing rather than like overly sweet or really too creamy or like it really balanced everything quite well, I thought.
Yeah, because the bottom layer, the cookie is sweet, and then the curd is like tart. I thought it was like perfect blend of the two.
Yeah,
really yummy.
I loved this. I loved the color of it. I loved the flavors in there. It went a little too fast. I think I'm gonna have to make more.
I agree. I need to make it too because we all had it, and then my husband was like, "Is there any more?" You know, it's a good one when they're looking for more of whatever Erin made, which is usually the case. Really yummy and so pretty.
Yeah,
I'm glad you colored it a little because it does look really pretty.
yeah. I was like, it was just a little bit dull. It was pink, but it was a dull pink. And I was like, you know what? I want some more oomph in here. I'm gonna make this with all the citrus, I think, because this in orange, yes, please. This in lemon, yes, please.
Blood orange.
Oh, yeah, like with all the fun citrus fruits you have. And I think it was really frustrating at first that I opened up this fruit and was like, oh no, I got something that I'm not super excited about, or I'm, how am I going to work with this? How often does that happen when you get citrus fruit and you don't know what it's going to be like on the inside, right?
Yeah.
And so being able to like take out and blend it up and actually get the juice out of it, now I know what to do when my citrus fruits disappoint me.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes it's just like,
you get those oranges that you're like, oh.
Yeah. Juice it,
make bars.
Yes, please.
Okay.
So good.
This pomelo, to me, tasted mostly like grapefruit. So I'm very interested to learn that it is a whole different class of citrus fruit. Obviously, that flavor piece of the pomelo is what's in that grapefruit.
Yeah, interesting, right? I wouldn't have guessed. Of course, I don't know that I've ever actually eaten pomelo. So maybe I didn't guess because I was thinking grapefruit and I had it in my mind. And it's similar enough that even if it does taste different, I wouldn't know the difference.
Oh, and the smell of it. Like the smell of that pomelo before I opened it up, before anything, like it was so fragrant. Like that's almost what attracted me to it in the store because I could smell how awesome it smelled. And I was like, oh, I got to do something with this. I don't know what, but I'm taking it home with me.
Well, they're clearly in season because they're in the stores and they look really beautiful right now. So good job.
Bright, colorful sweets to go on your table and delight yourself with. Do it.
Do it.
And now for the fine print. For links to recipes and many other random things we talked about in this episode, check out the show notes or our website, www.threekitchenspodcast.com. Join us over on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, YouTube, and TikTok to see what we're cooking up next. And if you love the show, tell a friend. Word of mouth is the #1 way people learn about new podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.
Just go delight yourself.